Two people are standing at the exact same starting line. One of them is going to finish this race in 19 years. The other one has no idea where the finish line even is anymore. You already feel this in your chest every time you check your retirement account. That quiet voice telling you that you should be further along by now. Here is what that voice never tells you. The finish line you're chasing has already moved twice in the last 90 years. And right now, it is lining up to move a third time, right under your feet. So before you let that voice win, stay with me. In the next few minutes, you are going to see exactly why this race got harder, and it was never about you. Meet Frank. Born in 1935, the same year Social Security was created. His finish line was 65 years old, and it never moved once in his entire working life. Frank worked one company for 35 years. He never opened an investment account, never picked a single stock. His employer handled all of it in the background for decades, without him ever having to think about it. The day Frank turned 65, a check started showing up. Same amount, same day, every month for the rest of his life. Now meet Sarah, born in 1985, exactly 50 years after Frank. Same country, same system, completely different race. Sarah has already changed jobs 5 times. Every employer offered her a 401k. Not one of them offered her what Frank had. And she does not fully understand yet how much that one difference changes everything. The first crack appeared in 1983. Congress passed amendments that slowly raised the full retirement age from 65 to 67. It did not happen in one announcement. It happened 2 months at a time, spread across 3 decades. So gradually, an entire generation grew up without noticing it happening to them. If Sarah had been born just 25 years earlier, her full retirement age would still be 65, just like Frank's. Instead, she's stuck at 67. 2 extra years, added to her race while she was already running it. Here is the part that stings even more. Raising the age did not just push the finish line back, it shrank the prize waiting at the end, too. So Sarah is running longer, for less. And this was decided before she even finished high school. Because right now, in 2026, the finish line is preparing to move again. And this time, the countdown is public. The 2026 Social Security Trustees Report says the retirement trust fund is projected to run short, starting in the 4th quarter of 2032. 6 years from today, not decades. 6 years. That does not mean checks stop coming. It means incoming payroll tax revenue would only cover about 78% of what was promised. If lawmakers combine it with the separate disability fund, the runway stretches to 2034, softening the cut slightly to 83% payable. Notice something. That depletion date has moved closer every single year this report comes out, not further away. And now there is open discussion about raising the full retirement age again, possibly to 69. Frank's finish line was 65. Sarah's is 67. Her daughter's might be 69. I am not here to tell you whose fault that is. That fight belongs somewhere else, and you have heard it 1,000 times already. What actually matters for you is this. Your plan has to be built for a moving target, not the fixed one your parents got to run toward. Now here is the twist: most people never connect to any of this. While the finish line kept moving, something bigger shifted underneath both of them. Who actually carries the risk if things go wrong? In 1978, a provision buried inside the Revenue Act created something called the 401k. Nobody thought it would replace anything, but employers noticed something fast. A pension is a promise that sits on their books for 30 years. A 401k match is a cost that ends the second you walk out the door. So the shift began. In 1980, only about 8% of retirement coverage looked like Sarah's 401k. By 2008, that number had jumped to 31%. Today, it is the default for almost everyone. Think about what that means for Sarah. Every market crash, every year she forgot to raise her contribution, every gap between jobs where nothing was saved. None of that sat on an employer's shoulders. It sat entirely on hers. Frank never once worried about a stock market crash wiping out his retirement, because his retirement was never in the stock market to begin with. Sarah worries about it every single time the news mentions a downturn. Now, let us talk about the number that keeps you up at night. Because this is where most people quietly convince themselves they have failed. You have probably seen the headline, "Average 401k balance in 2026, sitting around $340,000, according to Empower." Here is what that headline leaves out. The median, the person standing exactly in the middle, is only around $44,000, according to Vanguard's 2026 data. One person with a seven-figure account can drag that average sky high for thousands of ordinary savers standing nowhere near it. For workers between 55 and 64, right near Sarah's finish line, the real median sits closer to $107,000. Not $300,000. So if your number looks nothing like what you saw online, take a breath. You're probably standing exactly where most real people stand. But here comes the part that makes this race genuinely unfair. While Sarah's savings target holds roughly still, the cost waiting at the finish line keeps climbing. Milliman's 2026 Retiree Health Cost Index says a healthy 65-year-old couple retiring this year needs around $418,000 saved just for healthcare. That is $30,000 more than what last year's retiring couple needed, and it climbs again next year. Frank's pension came bundled with retiree health coverage that absorbed most of this. Sarah has to build this number from scratch, on top of everything else. So, let us say the quiet part clearly. When someone tells you that you are behind on retirement, what are they actually comparing you to? A number that does not exist anymore. 65 moved to 67 and may move to 69. The trust fund runway shortens every year the report comes out. You are not failing to hit a fixed target. You are failing to hit one that has already moved twice and is getting ready to move again while you are still running toward it. A person who misses a moving target is not the same as a person who cannot run. One of those is a system problem. This has always been the first kind. This is not a story about picking a political side. That conversation happens in hearing rooms, not in your bank account. What happens in your bank account is simpler. The math shifted underneath you, twice already, and it has not stopped. So what does Sarah actually do with all of this? She stops measuring her progress against Frank's finish line because she was never handed Frank's race. That means treating her 60s as flexible instead of fixed, the same way nearly half of Americans already say they plan to retire somewhere between 60 and 69, not one locked-in age. It means building a separate healthcare cushion early, since that number has proven for years it only moves in one direction. It means checking the median for her age group, not the flashy average, so her sense of progress is based on reality instead of a headline built to make her panic. None of this erases the heavier race Sarah was handed. But understanding exactly how the race changed is what lets her train for it, instead of blaming herself for not running Frank's version of it. Frank crossed a finish line that stood still his entire life. Sarah is crossing one that keeps sliding further away, right as she gets close to it. Neither one of them did anything wrong. They were just handed two different races to run. You are not behind on retirement. You were handed a race with a finish line that has already moved twice and keeps demanding a bigger number every single year the reports come out. Knowing that will not fix the system. But it does mean that number on your screen right now is not a verdict on who you are. It is a snapshot of a race that was quietly redesigned while you were already running it. If breaking down numbers like this, without the noise and without the panic, is something you want more of, this is exactly what this channel does every day. Hit subscribe so the next one finds you.